And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Today we're taking a look at Battle Barrage. Now, I will say when I first saw the cover of this, I was like, oh, I don't know, because the cover kind of looks like some game from the 80s, and the board itself, which is this massive board here, looks like a giant Summoner Wars board. It also did not really inspire any confidence. But then I was reading through the description and saw that in this game, you are throwing dice at the opponent's army. You mean like literally throwing dice? Okay, now you got me. Because I like dexterity style games. I like games where you throw things at other things. I'm pretty pumped about that. Let's hope that makes up for how the game looks. Here we are. So in this game, each player is going to have two sides. Well, I mean, they're going to have their stuff on their side of the board. You can see the board's really a shiny board. You can see my shadow and everything on this board. But you're going to start with a king, a castle, and a wizard on your side. You don't want your king to die because you lose the game. Your castle is where you're going to put stuff next to, and your wizard can cast spells. They're extremely important, all three of them. You will notice also each character card will show you how they move. So you can see he moves one space in any direction. They show you how many hit points he has. He has 1, and it shows you their attack range. So he has a range of 1, and his damage he'll do 3 times 6-sided dice. So he would roll 3 6-sided dice when attacking somebody. When you attack someone, you hit on a 3, 4, 5, or 6. Each player is going to get a handful of 10 cards from this really massive deck. So on your turn, you're going to decide what kind of turn you're going to have. If it's a peaceful turn, you will get 5 gold, 3 movement, and no actions. If it is an engagement turn, you'll get 3 gold, 3 movement, and 3 actions. And if it's war, you get no gold, you get 3 movement, and 5 actions. So you always get 3 movement. And you can't attack on the first turn. So mostly you're going to get some gold, and then you're going to take actions. Now actions are going to be using the cards in your hand. So you have a big handful of cards. Many of the cards in your hand are going to be people. So you can see here, there's Javelin here. Costs 1 gold, so I could pay 1 gold and put him down for an action. I can attack as an action. So let's see, maybe this scout. You can see most of the stuff here is 1 gold, or this dame here, she's 2 gold. So maybe I want to put her out here next to the castle and pay gold. Every turn you will also get one of these as long as your wizard is still alive. And if your wizard is alive, you can cast magic spells. So for example, teleport. This lets you move any unit into an unoccupied square. And there's lots of different of these spells. Here's a strength spell. Give 2 hit points to any unit. Here's the unsighted. And each spell, here's fear, here's magic wrath. Each spell has a certain amount of mana to cost. And if your wizard has been killed, you can no longer use them. When moving, I already mentioned, you always get 3 movements. So if you spend 1 movement here on the dame, she can move 2 in any direction. So maybe she goes like that, 1 or 2. If I spend a movement on the Javelier, he can move 2 spaces, but he can't go diagonally. So maybe he goes like this. When attacking someone else, if you're melee, you're just going to roll dice next to them, and you get a hit for each 3, 4, 5, or 6. If it's range, you're going to pick a specific dice. Like here, you'll see the Javeliner has a range of 15. He has a 1 6-sided die, and you're supposed to use this one here that looks a little bit like a javelin. And then from behind the card, you simply will throw the die and hope that you land on an opponent's piece. So there's different kinds of dice. Maybe you're rolling maybe you're throwing a 4-sided die, or a 12-sided die, or just a normal 6-sided dice. But you're throwing these dice, and you can see I'm not very good at making them land on someone else's. But if you do make a die land on someone else, doesn't matter what side is up on that die, if it just lands on something, you get a hit. That's it. You're just going to keep going back and forth, declaring peace and war, putting out units and moving around until you eventually kill your opponent's king. He only has 1 hit point, so it's very easy to kill him, although if someone actually hits him and he rolls a d6 and matches or exceeds the roll, he can counter it and take no damage. But if you kill the king, that's it. Game over. That's how you play. Okay, Well, as I said, I really don't think this game looks good. I mean, when you're looking at the artwork here and the way the cards are formed, it just has the look of just some sort of, I don't know, 80s or 90s game. It doesn't look polished. The cards are, you know, they're shiny, and just the whole thing just reeks of just not that professional looking. And in fact, the game itself kind of feels that way. Now, the dice are fine, and I do like the little, you know, caramel pieces of candy for the coins. And they got some tokens here for hit points and damage that buildings can take, etc., etc. But, I don't know, the whole thing just doesn't look that great. But that's okay if the game plays well. There's a lot of problems with this game, folks. Here's the deal. It is fun to shoot arrows and catapults and javelins at the other person. I like that part. It is way more fun than slowly running across the board, getting closer and closer, and eventually I'll be so close that I can stab you with my sword. And meanwhile, that person running across the board, you're shooting at them. Range and range attacks in this game are way more powerful, especially since half the stuff in this thing has 1 hit point. And you definitely want to hit your opponent's wizard, so half the game is people shooting at the other person's wizard, because, you know, if you can kill their wizard, boom, they can't use any of those magic spells. And there's so much luck. You have this hand of 10 cards. It's like, I don't want any of these cards. Fine. You can spend 2 of your actions to discard them and draw new ones. And it's just this big discard pile, and I got these spells, and ooh, this one takes 8 mana, which means I can use it 8 turns from now. Are you kidding? And then when you use it, it's teleport a unit from one spot to another. Okay, so I teleport my guy next to your king, and I win if I get lucky. It's just luck, 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 luck. There's just luck everywhere. Luck when you swing the swords. Luck when you throw the thing. I never felt like I was being tactical in this game. I mean, because you have a handful of cards, you're not limited by, ooh, I wonder how many units I can put out. No, just keep throwing out units. And that whole, ooh, you can take 5 actions and no gold. You can take 5 gold and no actions. No, you know what you're going to do every turn? If you don't think you're going to attack, you take the 5 gold. But most of the time, you're taking that middle action. 3 gold, 3 movement, 3 actions. Boom, 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 boom. And it just goes back and forth, and it's a very uninspired game. I really liked shooting the arrows. That was fun. But that's just part of the game. And this king who's walking around like a weakling, so it's supposed to feel like chess, but a lucky shot so you can kill him. So you have to stick him behind your castle. You have to. So you put him behind your castle, so you know your castle's sucking up the wounds, and everyone else is trying to maneuver to get around. And so just as running across the board, and here comes my guys. Oh, your archers shot them. They're dead. Okay, I'll bring out more guys. There's just, this feels like a high school project. And some kid brings it to me, and I'm like, yeah, it's not bad, you know, but I wouldn't publish it. This is just I don't know. The idea of Battle Barrage, not a bad name. But if you're going to look like a late 90s game and play like one, it doesn't play much playtesting. There's so many other games out there. Let's take it, just for example, Summoner Wars. Summoner Wars uses a smaller board than this, but has some same things. You move, you hit on a 3, 4, 5, or 6. So why do I like Summoner Wars and this better than this one? Because in Summoner Wars, you have to think very carefully. When I put out people, how am I going to move them around the board? What are they going to do next? How do I get into this? You don't sit there and go, I can just do whatever I want. Throw people out because they're probably going to die anyway. You feel no attachment to any of your units. You just throw them out if they die. If your wizard gets killed by a stray shot or your king gets killed by a stray shot, they're dead, game over. Some cards are way better than other cards, and yet they have the same cost. It feels like no playtesting was put in this game. Bleh, bleh is really where I'm feeling at this one. Just didn't like it at all. Battle, baloney. Dice Tower Judgment, just not polished.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Louder.
Shut the door!